Hey, this is Paul Evans. Thank you for being part of Prime Power. Had a question that came in regarding stage 3, talking about primary and 2 secondary traffic sources. And it says this: Paul, you said that if you didn't know the 3 top traffic sources in your market, you need to study. From your video, how do you study traffic? Determine the most competition from Google AdWords, determine how effective it is in sending email, e-zine, ad blast, how much traffic from article marketing, how much traffic from Facebook. My question is, how do I determine how effective and how much traffic comes from a given strategy? I see all these traffic techniques like articles, banner ads, emails, and Facebook. I don't know what actually gets the traffic to these people's site. What is the secret? Is it all about the competition in Google AdWords and Google Keyword Tool? I don't know how to research the best traffic methods. All right, so it's a great question. And you guys probably have heard me mention this before, like in your primary traffic is going to be where people are. You know, where are they spending their time? Where are they spending their focus? And what are they giving their attention to? So it may be that in your market, there's a lot of time, attention, focus, all of that being given on Facebook. And so that would be one of your primary sources. And you've got to begin, though, by looking at your market itself. You know, are you part of your market? Where are you spending time in this market? That's why you hear myself, Lynn Terry, others talk about choosing a niche, not simply that you're passionate about, but that it's passionately profitable, so that you understand the terminology, you understand exactly what people are looking for, why they're looking for it, because really you're part of the market. It's the same thing that you would be looking for. So when people say things like you need to use article marketing, and let's say that you're in a market like public speaking, it's one of my markets. I've never even gone to article or ezine.com or whatever it's called, ezine articles, to look up articles to learn how to be a better speaker. I've never done that, ever. You know, the first thing that I do is I think about people that I like in my industry. All right, so who are some great communicators? Brian Tracy, John Maxwell, etc. Now, I already know that they've got a lot of attention in that marketplace, right? And I also know that I'm not necessarily going to be part of their circle. Even though I've met John personally and done a video with him and some things along those lines, I wouldn't feel comfortable calling him up at his house today. And even though I've spoken on stage with Zig Ziglar, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be able to, go to his house today and knock on the door and say, "Hey, Zig, remember me?" It just doesn't happen that way, right? But we already know, just from sitting down thinking, where we would spend our time. And so when we think about that, we begin making this list. All right, we start talking about people, like I just did. Secondly, places. All right, where am I going to be looking? So I'll look up public speaking to learn a little bit more about that. What blogs come up? What forums come up? The forums aren't particularly active in that market, but there are plenty of blogs. And so I began listing these places that I would spend my time. Then I would also look at, let me jump back up to people just for a second. How many of these people are on Facebook? How active are they? And can I join the conversation? Now, it doesn't mean that I'm going to get a flood of business, right, from just being active there. But I can post some links and I can become involved and I can start to begin to build a relationship. Because I think that you'll notice in most cases, not every case, in most cases, traffic comes from, number 1, a relationship, number 2, SEO, or number 3, paid traffic. This is what I've seen bring the most traffic overall. So if I've got a relationship, someone mails for me, then I'm going to get some traffic. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to get sales, but I'm going to get some traffic. Secondly, search engine optimization. Now, this is kind of like the holy grail of belief systems. That if I can get ranked number 1 in Google, then I'm just going to have it made. Well, we all know that that's a challenge. What's not a challenge is to have a great blog in your marketplace that you post to either daily, maybe 2 or 3 times a day, just short posts, but highly valuable, and you've done your keyword research so that you're able to make relevant posts. Now, I'm not worried about long tail keywords, short tail keywords, any of that. I'm concerned about quality content that is going to attract readers when they see that in a listing, even if they're on the third page of Google. And I know people say, if you're not on the first page, it doesn't count. Well, you never know. There are people searching out there like crazy. And so we're also posting all of this to Facebook, and we're making sure that we're optimizing our Facebook posts. And all this helps with the SEO, and so there's going to be some traffic through that. And then the paid traffic, which of course I love. I think it's one of the fastest ways to get people to your site. Now, it doesn't mean that it's, again, the answer. It's definitely going to be a risk. So if you decide, hey, I'm going to spend $500 on this traffic, realize you could lose $500. So you may go in the hole $500. Or you may come in and you may say, you know what? I spent X amount of dollars, spent $500, and I got 30 opt-ins. Can you turn those 30 into $500? Most likely you can. And so it's not necessarily a losing proposition, even though the number itself may scare you just a bit. And so when you're looking at paid traffic, and we've mentioned AdWords before, and eZine, I like eZine Blast because I know that these people have already opted in for that particular topic, right? It makes it pretty easy. Now, in one of my businesses, I use AdWords almost exclusively, and that works out real well for us. But you're going to have to spend some money. And I want to sidebar on this. I may have even mentioned it in an earlier video. But we get wrapped up on these numbers, like how, I don't have $500 to spend. I don't have $100 to spend. But I know people who are spending outrageous amounts of money trying to learn how to do business online or to learn just one little facet of it. There's all these $2,000 programs out there. And many of the programs are very good. I'm not downing the programs, but somebody will spend $2,000 in order to learn something that most don't even apply when they could have taken that $2,000 and applied it to eZine marketing or AdWords and actually driven traffic to a squeeze page, which is very important. If you're going to be spending money, or if you're going to be driving traffic, period, you've got to control the experience. So I'm going to put that right here, CE, control the experience. Because you could blast out to an eZine and they can come to your blog, and sure, there's an opportunity to opt in, but it doesn't mean that they will opt in. Whereas the old squeeze page that people like, I don't like not giving people a choice. I want them to be able to come to my site, see what it's about, and then opt in. Well, that's going to depress your response rate. It's just going to happen. There's no way that as many people are going to come to your blog and end up opting in after they've looked around as if they hit a squeeze page with a specific offer that they had to say yes or no to. So control that experience as well. When you're spending the money and you're driving the traffic, make sure that it's serving the purpose that you want. So Kevin, it's a tough question, really. How do you research it? How do you find out which ones of these are right? I don't know that there is a specific answer because you have to experiment somewhat to find out. And here's the reason I say that. Because even within a market, the best traffic source for you may not be the best traffic source for someone else. Now, what do I mean by that? And please, nobody get sensitive, but some people have these outrageous personalities, instantly connect with others. And so they go on someone's blog that has a huge following and a huge community, and they begin making some comments, and the blog owner, the blog writer, whoever, ends up seeing them and is impressed by it. And they go, wow, I like this person. They're always here. They're adding very value-based information. And they contact that person and say, hey, would you mind doing a guest blog for me? Now somebody else hears that and says, oh, that's the secret. I need to go make comments. I'm going to go make comments and I'm going to hang out on this person's blog. And then that person sees this other person and says, looks like we got a stalker here. Looks like they are really trying too hard. Okay, so it's the same traffic method, but it doesn't work the same, right? Now let's take SEO. The way that one person who's great at SEO approaches it compared to me is going to be totally different. I'm going to have a totally different rate of response because of my skill level in that area, right? All right, let's take paid traffic. A person who knows how to make really great offers and knows how to get people to click that button from an email just to get them to the page. That's it. They don't sell them anything. Just get them to the page to let them see the offer and the opt-in. That person is going to do a lot better than the person who goes out and says, I want to tell them my life story. I want them to know who I am. I want to make sure they're making a wise decision. Same 3 traffic sources. 3 totally different outcomes because of the way that the individual approaches that marketing. So I know that that's not the type of answer that we want, that we desire, that makes us happy because it's not cookie cutter and it doesn't just make everything fall into place. You know, testing is not just for our web pages. Testing is for us. We need to find out our best traffic method. And I know what I'm best at. And if I tell you that, it doesn't mean that you'll be the best at it. It doesn't mean that it'll work the best for you, the most outrageous for you. And you're going to have things that you do that are going to blow the doors off that if I try them, they're just not going to work. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now, I hope that this video was not discouraging at all, because when we get to the unique value section stage, I know that's going to be such an incredible encouragement to you. I want you to think back on this lesson, and I think these pieces will start coming together a little bit, and you'll be able to make some great strides in your traffic and in your list building, because you're going to be doing it in a more authentic way, in a way that fits you, and a way that is going to bring the most value to your market. And that's when a lot of our traffic sources begin working out really, really well. All right, so that's it for this video that might have been somewhat confusing, but hopefully as you dwell on that and you think about that, you'll go out and you'll begin looking at people, begin looking at places, make a list of all those, see who and what you can really connect with. Where is your audience, your people, your market already spending their time, and intersect that. Get involved in the conversation. You know, when I just think about Facebook today and the number of people on that, people are saying take out ads on Facebook. I'd say just join groups and do searches for your keywords and get involved in the conversation. It's not a massive overnight growth, but you can really anchor yourself. And once people on Facebook begin talking about you and sharing your stuff, it's going to be a great, great traffic source for you. And it's only going to improve as Facebook expands and grows. I think they're close to 1 billion now, so pretty strong. Anyway, be blessed. Success is not an accident.